lot of violence, but I can make an explosion. This is my song. Prove I'm alright, so my power's turned up. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song, and I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. No, I've still got a lot of fire left in me.
Good evening to you. It's another Tuesday evening and we are live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Geek Squad, brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. My name is Adobea Biritwum, and tonight we're going to have a conversation that I believe is going to be helpful to you, whether you're a business or an individual who just has a personal brand. So we are just going to be talking about the essence of websites in 2024. Essence of websites in 2024. I have a friend who asked me, she has a business, and with this business she has different social media handles where she sells her items, and she asked, is there a need for a website? And we are going to answer this question and many more. But before we get into that, and before I introduce my guests, we would like to share with you what has been happening in the tech space in the past week. So why not take a listen to the emerging tech trends? We'll be right back after that.
Hello there, and welcome to Imagine Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Michelle Lejekum. Now in our headlines, Samsung just announced the date for its next Unpacked. Snap adds new warnings and region blocks to address teen sextortion scams. New Chrome mobile shortcuts let you call a restaurant from your address bar. Instagram is starting to let some creators make AI versions of themselves. Now to the details. Samsung has announced that its next Unpacked summer event will be on July 10 in Paris, France. The invitation teases foldables, emphasizing the integration of Galaxy AI in the latest Galaxy Z series and the overall Galaxy ecosystem. Away from that, Snapchat is introducing heightened security measures for teenagers' accounts to combat the rise of advanced sextortion scams. These measures include new alerts and automatic friend request blocks for suspicious accounts. The features are designed to tackle the increasing threat of sextortion scams. Also, Google introduces new Chrome actions for mobile users to easily call, read reviews, or get directions to businesses directly from the address bar. Android users have immediate access, while iOS users can expect this feature in the fall. Finally, Instagram's new AI studio will let creators make AI chatbot versions of themselves. Mark Zuckerberg announced the initial US test last Thursday, mentioning that users may soon see AI versions of their favorite creators on Instagram, primarily in messaging and clearly labeled as AI. These are the tech trends for today. My name is Michelle Lejekum, and thanks for listening.
Hey, so as for you, every day you are just pressing your phone. Why? Are they paying you?
They are, Oma.
Eh?
The more I use my MTN, the more points I get. And I can use those points to get airtime, data, and even discounts at shops and restaurants.
Hey, so that is why all of you are always pressing your phones. And you won't tell us, so that we too we can enjoy some.
Oh, ma.
There's always more to enjoy with MTN Rewards. Just keep talking, testing, and browsing all day, every day to collect your points and use it to redeem amazing offers and discounted freebies right away. There's so much available for you. So dial *550# and get your reward today. Let's go everywhere you go.
Kweku, have you heard what they are doing on MTN?
Attention, all risk and compliance and audit professionals across Africa. Are you ready to tackle the challenges of governance, risk, compliance, and audit head-on? Then mark your calendars for the 7th edition of Risk Summit Africa, happening on the 24th and 25th of July 2024 at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Join us for 2 days of insightful discussions, networking opportunities, and invaluable takeaways. Whether you're a CEO, a risk compliance professional, a board member, or a mid-level executive, this summit is tailored just for you. Learn from global best practices, connect with industry experts, and discover strategies for immediate implementation. Don't miss out on this opportunity to elevate your leadership and steer your organization towards success. Rate is a cool 4,000 Ghana cedis. Reserve your seats today at www.ricksummitafrica.com or call 057 2760 472 for more information. See you there.
Say donut, 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 donut. Hey, donut, 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 donut. Donut, donut. Then come cut up donut. Donut, donut. Malaria syrup donut. Everybody follow not sa malaria. A 3D no not now. Wonto malaria chill. Wo popo. What mean the day? I want the no donut. A dabako. No donut. A damienu. No donut. A damiensa. No donut. Malaria syrup donut. No. Donut scatter malaria. Lonat, it is scatter malaria.
A quality product from Blaze GVS Pharma. Yen shishemu hu se malaria wa wumojam ansana wanum Lonat. Na nam yen search na malaria no daso wo hwa ko hu dokota.
This advert is FDA approved.
Joy 99.7 FM.
On the ocean.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Tonight we are having a conversation on websites. Are they important in 2024? What is the essence of website in 2024? Now, as of 2024, the digital landscape hosts approximately 1.09 billion websites, with 252,000 new sites springing up daily. Within this, there are over 192 million sites that are active, and they are playing crucial roles in the expansive global connectivity network and information sharing. But how important are websites in 2024 in our part of the world, which is Ghana? I have with me two gentlemen, and we are going to be getting into the discussion shortly. I have with me Richmond Abiu. He is the founder for KR Concepts. Richmond, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I also have Desmond Dankwa Ankuma. He is a web designer and a framer developer. Desmond, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to start first with you, Richmond. You are the founder for KR Concepts. What is it about? Can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Okay, thank you, and good evening, everyone. KR Concepts is a software development agency. Our main focus is developing custom software for businesses. So we look at every business. Not two businesses are the same. Everybody have their needs and how they operate. So we look at your needs and we develop software that suits your operations. Yeah, so technically that's what we do. And we also do a bit of website and then graphic design as well.
Okay. Good to know. And Desmond, in fact, when I posted the flyer for you, I had people ask me, he's a framer. What is it?
A framer developer, not a framer.
Yeah, but it showed as a framer anyway. But can you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a website designer, UI UX designer. But like over the years, I mostly just design, and then we have like in-house developers build the site, right? But there's been like instances where there are like no code tools where you don't necessarily have to know how to code. You just have like certain templates that you fix your content in, and then you have a website. But what's special about Framer is it gives like designers more customizability. Like you don't necessarily have to know how to code, but then you can still like input code in there once in a while, and then you're able to basically, because what we do in Figma is we design a prototype of a website, but it's not the actual website, right? But with Framer, you do the prototype and then you're able to like ship it as well, like publish it as a live website. So that's what Framer does.
All right. So my two gentlemen are already into website development, and so definitely this is something that we are going to benefit from. So thank you for making time with us again. We're having a discussion on the essence of websites in 2024. For you listening to us, when was the last time you visited any local website, like any local website at all? When was the last time? Was it active? Was it something that was very interactive? I want to hear from you. You can send us your message on the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997 055 1111 997. That website that you visited, a local website. I'm not talking about a very big company out there, but here in Ghana, you know, a particular business. You visited your website. How was it like? Was it serving the purpose for which it has been built? We'd like to hear from you on that. All right, so to my guests now, I mean, when we talk about web development or websites, can we just talk about what even brings us to have this conversation in the first place? Websites. I'll start with you, Richmond.
All right. Okay, so websites started way back somewhere in the 90s when the internet was booming. So naturally, website was not designed for the purpose we are using it today. It was for research purposes, for some program. Yes, but as time goes on, people realize that, okay, if these people are able to use this tool for this, then we can also use it to do this, because the research project is designed so that it can disseminate information easily. So when you are working in that department, I'm here, whatever you put there, I can also have access to it. Yeah. Or maybe he has the documentation or the blueprint, everybody can have access to that. Then if you can serve that purpose, okay, I have a business. I also want you to know about my business. I want everyone to know about my business. Then I can also use a website for that same project. So that is how the whole website thing started.
It's interesting that now, especially in Ghana, and that was the question I was asking here, we know that it's something, looking at the numbers that I even read out right now, like over 192 million sites that are active. But here in our world, can we say that that is what is really happening? I mean, you have been doing the development, as you have mentioned. So can we say that it's something that is, I would say, relatable in our world here?
I would say yes and no.
Okay,
it depends on
explain
who
the
you
yes
ask.
and the no.
Because, I mean, currently there's like social media and all that. So I think the most important thing for businesses is like an online presence, not necessarily like a website. And then if you want to be present online, nowadays there's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and what have you. So because it's like very accessible to most businesses, you don't necessarily have to get an expert to build you like a social media page or something like that, even though like there are people who manage social media pages. So I think it's easier for them to start their businesses off social media, and also it's mostly based on like family and friends. That's how most businesses start back here. So it's easier to share on WhatsApp, share on Instagram or something like that, and then they get their sales going. But as time goes on, they realize that, okay, they need to expand, they need certain bespoke needs, and they then move on to having a website. So yeah, I think it's a yes and a no, depending on who you ask, basically.
Which one you want to take a shot at that?
Oh, well, maybe almost the same, but I would say it's very much important to have a website. I always tell people, aside your business registration, the next thing you need is a domain name and a website. Yes.
Is it because you that is your work?
No.
Okay. So why is it important for the business to have a website?
You know, nobody can tell your story better than you do. And your website is where you have the opportunity to tell your own story and say it the way you want to say it. Yes, there's social media and you can put all that, but you know, social media can make and unmake you in a certain way. So, but on the website, you have control of whatever gets onto your website. You decide, and it gives you a little bit more of credibility. In this era where people are cloning people's websites and people are hijacking people's identity, having your own website where people can see you visibly and know exactly what you are doing, I think gives you a little more credibility and enhances your image. It makes you look serious. Let me use the
Okay.
word. You look like you are
Professional.
serious about what you are doing. Social media helps a lot. I wouldn't say no, but website is something you should explore right after your business registration.
I like what you said. The fact that it gives you the opportunity to tell your own story. And as you mentioned, social media will give you some kind of features, but then it will not be as much as the website. But then I think I'll come to you right now, as in that case, what would the difference be? What will the website provide for me that social media would not provide for me? Because you said a yes and a no.
Yeah, so it depends on what needs and what exactly you're solving with your website. Because, mind you, there are different kinds of websites, and then there are even web apps, right? So, when you take social media, for
Can we
instance,
just, before we go to the question, you've spoken about
websites and web apps.
I think
So,
it would be good just to
web
educate
apps kind of like websites just display information, and then users take action based on those information. But web apps kind of have specific tasks, right? So if we take, let's say, I want to make it like local so that everyone, I think during COVID there was this website that people used to check the number of like active COVID cases. Those are some kind of web apps. And then there are specific ones for hosting events. There are specific ones for booking flights and
I think the booking
Airbnb and
flights,
all
those
those things.
ones would
Yeah, so
fall
those are
under
web apps, right? But then websites are basically for marketing purposes most of the time. Yeah. So back to the point that I was making, depending on what exactly you want to, like what problem you want to solve and what your business does, you'd have to go like the web app route or the website route. But even with web apps, you still need like a website to market the web app. So you still can't necessarily do away with websites. And then another limitation for social media is, people are on social media and then they get banned or they get restricted because of, let's say, some violations. Or so let's say if you're a business and you're supposed to make sales and then your social media has been banned or you've been hacked, what do? You basically lose sales, right? But with websites, you have control. And with social media too, you have to play along with algorithms and all those like technical stuff. But with websites, you basically have to get your content right, and then you'll be found in search engines. Like we call something SEO, search engine optimization. So you basically optimize your content so that when someone types, "How do I book a flight?" your website comes up, right? So with social media, you don't necessarily have those features.
Yeah, that's so true. So, I mean, giving the example about the web app, for instance, like a loan management system, you can have that.
Exactly.
Once the person is accessing that over the web, then it's going to be an application for them over the web. And yeah, I just like what you have shared, but I want to ask Richmond, is a website necessary for every business? Looking at the point that you made, sorry, so far as the person registers the business, the next thing they should be looking at is also having a domain registered or a website. Is it necessary for every business?
I will still say yes.
You still say yes?
Yes. Yes, in a sense that your business cannot be in all locations at the same time, but your website can be everywhere at the same time.
Right.
So, assuming I have a business in one remote village in around Kwewu, someone in Accra
A remote
here,
village around Kwewu.
Yeah.
Kwewu is not that remote anyway.
a
Don't
village
worry.
around it. So, someone in Accra here, I provide a certain service that the person is looking for. Maybe the person wants to come around there, but he feels like, okay, I need to get someone from Accra here so the person can go do that same thing for me in Kwewu when I am already in Kwewu. So when he or she tries to search and finds that, oh, okay, there's a competent guy in Kwewu who can deliver that service, he doesn't need to move that person from Accra to Kwewu. But if you don't have a website, I'm in the village there, I'm working, but the people in my immediate environment are those people who can find me. But with a website, the person can find you, read more about you, and if possible, if you have an interactive system, the person can interact with your website, maybe make bookings and do all those things before even showing up to the location. So by then, you'd have done everything instead of waiting to have one person show up, two people show up. So whether you are selling bags and shoes, or you are a hairdresser, anything you do, I think you should have a website.
That's very understood. Anything at all that you do, having a website, but sometimes so it comes to the whole management. I think when Desmond made his point earlier, he was talking about the fact that social media sometimes it can be hacked and all that. But then Richmond said earlier, these days people are cloning websites. I think there was a very popular was it a food restaurant or so, and they had an issue where their site was cloned and people were actually paying. So how do we tackle that, or how is that also handled? Because it looks like from both sides.
Yeah, I think with website cloning, I think the issue has to do with phishing. Like you just have to. So phishing is basically someone trying to replicate your site and then have like the same name as your domain. So your domain is basically like the www.yourbusiness.com or something like
That's
that.
when they clone the website.
So yeah, but with web browsers, right, there are certain things that you can look out for. So when you visit a site and then it doesn't have like the SSL certificates, like usually when you check your URL bar, you see this padlock icon. It basically tells you that this website is secure, right? So when you're building your site, you just have to get your SSL certificates, and then when your users get on, they know that okay, this is secure. And then another thing is you can only have one domain at a time. You can't have, there's no let's say google.com, you can't have two google.coms, right? So if everyone knows your business to be google.com, it's hard for someone to say google.co or something like that. Yeah, so I think it has to do with also like educating your users, because I mean, even with social media, even with people that have the verification mark, the check mark next to their username, there are still people cloning, especially with Twitter, that you can now buy verification.
Pay for it,
so you have to do some form of education to give your users like the things to look out for to make you stand out. Yeah, basically.
It's interesting. We had a conversation just this morning because someone was talking about their site and saying it is the one that is verified. And the person said, now verified, especially on Twitter, I mean, I can just pay for it and include it. So there should be something else to let your followers know that this is actually you. So it is clear. We are having a conversation on websites in 2024, whether you are a business or an individual who wants to build your personal brand. Do we need it in 2024? And I'm having the conversation with Richmond and Desmond, and so far what we are seeing is that even if you have some kind of social media presence, there is a need for a website. I'm going to come back to you now, Richmond. You're saying that you think every business needs it. So I am Madam Ajwa, somewhere in my neighborhood. I do dressmaking. If I'm supposed to have a website, what are some of the things that I should be looking out for to go ahead and do this? I mean, you founded KR Concept, so what should I be looking out for to do this?
Okay, so Madam Ajwa, the seamstress. You and your locality, everybody knows you are the best, but outside of your neighborhood, nobody knows you again. Now, first of all, you need to get your content right. Yes, content is king. So get a good pictures, because with a seamstress, visuals are what we will see. Whatever you write, we don't care. We want to see what you're able to make. So get your images right. If possible, you can do a small documentary or the process you go through to get your dresses right. And then get the information, all those things onto a very good, and the domain should be a very simple domain. One thing I see in Ghana here is, let's say, Richmond and Sons Enterprise Ghana. So somebody comes and say, oh, I want a website. And what's the domain? Oh, Richmond and Sons Enterprise Ghana.
.com.
.com.
.gh.
So you see, it's very long. I can't remember it.
Yeah.
But Richmond.com. Everybody remember it. So you need to get that right. And then also get your SEO right. Because being Madam Ajwa, you are not the only Ajwa in the world. So if you're able to create content around what you do, okay, Richmond sells bags. So now I'm able to educate people, write posts on what to look out for in quality bags, and what to get them, what occasion fits, which bags fit for what occasion, and all that. In that way, people get to realize that, okay, Ajua knows what she's doing, so then we can approach her. But if you don't do any of that, as he said, someone can also come and copy it. Say maybe ajuadansoman.com or ajuadc.com. It's still the same Ajua anyway. So then the person comes to go. Maybe the person maybe has some stress. And maybe the person just want to scam people, and the person just picks up from there. And you will be losing business while someone is gaining free money somewhere.
It's interesting. I want to come to you now, Desmond. So for that person listening to us, what are you going to tell her to convince her that the Facebook that she already has, that she's already posting her things there, the Instagram, she's already posting her things, she has actually posted information about her business, people are sending money through Momo, she's transacting there.
Yeah. What
are you going to tell her to convince her to let you design her website for her?
Right, like I said earlier, I mentioned yes and no.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you start your business from scratch, you don't necessarily have a lot of audience or like markets, so you start with social media. But as time goes on, you get to see that the social media is limiting you. Even though you are making sales, let's say you are making like 10, you are getting 10 customers, but have you thought about getting a website that will get you 100 customers? Because you can't necessarily handle all the customers on Facebook or Instagram, right? So basically, anyone who is willing to expand, you should necessarily like get websites, because websites are like tailor-made. You get to give your users a certain experience that they don't get on social media.
I think I like what you have brought in, the expansion. So at least you can start from somewhere, and then as you look at expanding, then definitely you have to do that. I think I had a friend who actually did that. For her, she was into agribusiness. She was doing what's it even called, peanut butter. And so at a point when she realized that times that you may probably want a grant, and it's one of the requirements, like do you have a website apart from the online
you can show your social.
Yes. So those questions are asked, and it is good that you have that in place. So if it means getting someone
and then to add to what Richmond said, like right after registration, start thinking about websites, even if you don't necessarily have the money to do it. Because when you think about it from the start, you get to think about like the branding, the domain name, like you mentioned. And then if you have like the funds, you can purchase the domain name down, right, before even building the website. So the domain name is just like how on social media you can choose like a username. Once you start, even if you don't have like flyers ready, you create a social media account and then you have your username so that no one takes that username, right? So it's the same thing for domains. Once you create your business, you check for your domain name and then the availability and the pricing and all that. Because what most people do, like there are people that buy domains and sell them.
Yeah.
So if they see that your business is doing well and then you don't necessarily have a website, they can go and purchase that domain name, which they know that's what you go with. Let's say ajua.com. They'll go and purchase it for, let's say, $5, and then come and sell it to you for $500 or something like that. So it's good to think about these things from the start. If you can afford, you purchase your domain down, and then you start like working towards that.
Okay. So what is the price? And if we're looking at someone thinking about this, hearing us this evening and says, okay, I think with this name, the way I like it, I don't want anyone to buy it. What should they be looking at in terms of getting a domain now? Any ideas?
Domain costs currently between $12 to about $20. Yes, I think the maximum will be around $25 based on the registrar. So maximum $25, $30. You should have a domain.
And this would be per year.
Per year.
Yeah.
So this is per year. So once you've thought about it, you want to have a website for your business. We'll be talking about the personal brand aspect, but you want to have a website for your business. Then what you can look at, we've spoken about one aspect, getting the domain name or getting a domain for you. You also spoke about content as kin, because that is where we get to see everything
What your
about
business
you,
is
what your
about, yeah.
business is about. So like the way you can go on some sites, you see about, you can read more information about the business, you can see gallery, you can see pictures, basically anything at all that you want to put there. This now becomes more or less where you can showcase yourself, and then you can market yourself as a business. People get to see all that information. Okay, so I think some of the things that now we see is for individuals, not just for businesses. So you mentioned the role that you play as a designer, and sometimes because of these roles, people end up building websites. They have their own portfolio, and then they use that. You can have a website like www.desmond.com, and then when you go there, in fact, some of them even have the details like their CV on websites.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Richmond, and then I'll come to this one.
Well, I think it's good. Every individual at least must have a website, in the sense that that is a way to market yourself aside the whole social media presence. That is the best. I mentioned earlier, nobody can tell your story better than you. So okay, I'm Richmond and I'm a farmer, or I'm Richmond, I'm aspiring to be a farmer. So if I have that website or domain registered in my name, tomorrow when I find myself performing a role, I just add all those things to it. Then my brand gets growing. So if I keep a domain like 12 years, and someone goes to it like, oh yeah, this guy is serious about what he's doing. This domain has been registered for 12 years. I'm like, he's been doing this same thing for about 12. No, I just started about 2 days ago, but the domain has been there for 12 years. That means that the website, my service I've been providing, I can say I've been doing this for the past 12 years, and it's valid. Because I already have a vision that, oh, I'll be doing this, I'll be building this, I'll be doing that. So from the get-go, I decided to have a domain down. So
This one.
Yeah. So I'm trying to advocate for like both sides here. So I agree with him, but then on the other side too, for personal brands, it can be quite expensive, because here's the instance where you are now looking for a job, right? You don't necessarily have a job. So where are you getting that money to pay for the domain name, right? But you can still have a subdomain. There's something called subdomain. So let's say if you are using a platform, back to Framer, like if you are using a platform like Framer and you don't have a domain, when you create your website on Framer, you get a subdomain. So you choose your username, and then let's say if your username is Desmond, you get to choose desmond.framer.com, right? Even though you don't have desmond.com, you still have like a subdomain that you can use for the meantime, right? So that's something that you can do on the site, and then still have like a website, a personal brand website, and then as time goes on, maybe that lands you like a new job, then you purchase a custom domain, right? So you don't necessarily have to sit down and be like, I don't have money, so I don't have
I
a
think
website.
I would like us to talk about that, at least take people through some steps, mention some of the different sites that probably they can use so that they can set up. Maybe someone wants to even talk about the things that they do, or maybe they are into writing, they could have a blog, they are looking at setting up something like that. So it will be good for us to just at least take listeners through, and for the person who doesn't even know where to start from at all, what such a person can do. This is Geek Squad, brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. We are having a conversation on the essence of websites in 2024, and I've had with me Desmond and Richmond. So far we have seen that it is necessary to have a website in 2024 if you're looking at expanding your business or expanding your brand. Maybe you already have social media presence, but then with the website it makes you more authentic, and so this is something that you can be considering if you have not thought about it yet. Now, before we continue, you know we all have those days when you are low on everything: energy, time, cash, and even airtime and data. Well, that's why MTN Extra Time is an airtime and data advanced service that allows you to make calls or browse the internet even when you have insufficient balance. All you have to do is to dial *506#, *506#, go through the prompts and select the amount of airtime or data you need. it's more than simple. Doing your favorite things on MTN means you don't get interrupted, even when you are low on airtime or data. Remember, all terms and conditions apply. We are having a conversation on the essence of websites in 2024, and we'd like to hear from you. When was the last time you visited a local website? Was it active? And was it serving the purpose for which it has been built? I'd like to hear from you. You can send me your message on the WhatsApp number 055 1111 997 055 1111 997. I have some messages. Good evening, Adobea. I have a medium-sized company, but truth be told, my website is just like my post office address. I don't know what he means by that. He says, useful only for taking the box on official forms. Oh, okay. Otherwise, the traffic there is only about job seekers. This is Francis from Oyarifa. Okay. He has the site, but then he doesn't really feel it's serving the purpose for which he has built it. Okay. There's also another message from Ajiman Joseph, Community 9, Tema. Good evening, sweet Adobea. Great show as always. One thing I've observed is that a lot of companies don't update their website, so there is a certain change one might not be aware. So it's a bit disturbing. Said companies do not update their website very often. That's when you are noting your head.
I think this particular submission answers some of the questions from like what Francis said, because you don't just build a website and then expect to get traffic. You maintain it, right? You put content there, you update content, you do, like I mentioned, search engine optimization, SEO, so that you appear in search results, right? Because let's say if people are searching for how to, let's say, dance in 2024, and then your business is around entertainment, but you are showing more content for, let's say, how to like make a movie or something, people won't direct traffic to that side. You get it? So you need to be updating your content, and then doing like a bit of research, knowing where users are going and what users are requesting for, and then feed them with such content, right? Basically, they've kind of answered the question for you. The other
question that came, you can't just have a website and just leave it as such. Okay, this is also another message from Ama in Oyarifa. It says, good evening, Adobea and team. Yes, the local website I visited and always visit is myjoyonline.com. Yes, definitely myjoyonline.com is serving its purpose for your information, news, and updates. You can hop on there and get that. This is Geek's Card, brought to you by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. And I'm having a conversation with Desmond and Richmond on the essence of websites in 2024. We will be right back after this.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Joy 99.7 FM.
On the ocean, sending big waves into motion, like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion.
Back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Tonight we're having a conversation on the essence of websites in 2024, and I've had with me Richmond and Desmond, and so far we are having the discussion on why, if you're a business or an individual, you may need to have a website in addition to your social media handles. Is there a need for it or not in 2024? And we will be getting back into that conversation shortly. But before, Risk Summit Africa 2024 is coming off on the 24th and 25th of July 2024. All risk and compliance and audit professionals across Africa, are you ready to tackle the challenges of governance, risk, compliance, and audit head on? Then mark your calendars for the 7th edition of Risk Summit Africa. This is happening at the Labadi Beach Hotel. It's a 2-day program which is going to be filled with insightful discussions, networking opportunities, and invaluable takeaways. So whether you are a CEO, a risk compliance officer, a board member, or mid-level executive, this summit is for you. You would learn from global best practices, connect with industry experts, and discover strategies for immediate implementation. The rate is a cool 4,000 Ghana cedis, and early bird ticket is going for 3,800 Ghana cedis. Group discounts are also available. All you have to do is to reserve your ticket at www.risksummitafrica.com. Or you can call the number 0572 760 7472. 0572 760 7472. You can call this number for more information. Risk Summit Africa is coming off 24th and 25th of July at the Labadi Beach Hotel. You don't want to miss it. If you're a CEO, risk compliance officer, board member, or a mid-level executive. So to my guests now, the conversation on the essence of websites in 2024. I indicated earlier, given the example, I mean, for somebody who probably just joined us, if I'm just doing my work, seamstress, or I'm into my small business somewhere, whether there is a need for me to have a website. And I think from Desmond, your submission was that if you get to the point where you feel you want to expand, then there may be a need for you to get a website. I think what I just want us to probably look at right now is the fact that if I'm on social media, Facebook, or I'm on Twitter, or I find myself on Instagram, I may not necessarily pay a lot. All I have to do is to just set up my account and then I can start making business there. Can we walk through what it takes to set up the website, and then at least we can have some kind of comparison basis to see what goes into the both of them for someone to make a decision? Should I start with you, Richmond, or Desmond?
So to get a website, the first and foremost thing is your address, which is the domain name.
Yes.
Then after that, you get your hosting. Some hosting providers provide you with emails, others don't. That means that you have to pay extra to have a company email, a business email at, let's say, yourdomain.com. Some companies or some hosting providers provide you with emails. And then after that, you approach a developer. But if you can do something yourself, praise the Lord. But I will always advise you approach someone who knows what he or she is doing to get you a proper website. I've seen situations where people just go download templates and change the text and they feel like, oh yeah, I've done it. But you realize that what you did doesn't meet any standard. So search engines will not really index your site. So it becomes a waste. So the process is just get a domain. You can register the domain yourself. You can buy the hosting yourself. But for the development, I will argue that get a professional to do it.
But that will come at a cost.
Yes, will come at a, but everything comes at a cost. Yes, if you do a bad job yourself, you end up wasting money. So as someone said, he has a website and it looks like just a post office box. Yes, probably either he did it himself or
someone did a
a
bad
person,
job.
there somebody did a bad job for him.
Or maybe he's not updating it like the
He's not
second message that
updating it.
came.
So there are so many options. So I think that's just basically it. And then after that, when you have a website, that's not the end of the story. Website, just like every other thing, needs to be maintained. You can't buy a car and be driving it around every day and not do maintenance. So when you have a website, always make sure at least every week or a month, put some content there, write something about what you do so people can see it. And that way, search engines also realize that, oh, this site is active, so it can be indexed. But if you don't have any content and what you placed there 10 years ago is the same thing that every day your web developer comes and says, oh, or maybe the registrar of the domain and the hosting comes every year you pay, or if it's monthly, you're paying monthly, then you're just wasting money, feeling like you're not making any returns. But if you keep putting content there, is that called outbound marketing or inbound marketing? I don't know. So when you keep putting content there, then people get to discover what you are doing. Then people can come over to you and try to do business with you.
Okay. Desmond, so roughly, we just want to have an idea so that at least we can compare the two. Roughly, how much is it going to be costing me to do that setup?
Yeah, so
getting a developer and all that. Yeah.
Richmond mentioned you can go that route. There's like the developer routes, the buying domain routes, but then there are also now like services online for creating like websites. But even with that, you still need like someone's expertise.
Can we mention some of them?
So like there's Wix, there's like Framer, like I mentioned, there are templates on Framer that you can purchase, updates with your content and all that. So Framer has like a price and plan depending on what you need for your websites, because every business is different. But it starts as low as $5 per month, and then depending on like which plan you choose, you just make that payment, and then get your sites up and running. And if you choose to go Richmond's route too, you can basically get developers here in Ghana and then talk to them, because I mean I can't say it costs this amount or that amount, because everyone has like their own rating system, their own experience and all that. So yeah, basically that.
I think I ever saw one company like that. They were doing an ad and they had given different range of prices for the setup. So I remember what they had added on. It started from about 1,500 or so, but that one included the whole domain setup and doing everything for you. It was a package, exactly. It was a package, and they had listed a number of pages too. So I can't really remember.
That's
they had
also
listed
like another important thing, because you can't charge the same price for a 5-page website and then a 10-page website. So all those factors have to come in.
Yeah, I noticed that they had indicated a number of pages. Okay, so now every business must have a website according to Richmond. So just looking at this, I think the question that I asked Desmond earlier, I'm going to ask you now. What would you say to convince someone who doesn't have a website and has social media presence that they should get a website?
Wow. Okay. Just as I mentioned in my last submission, running business in your neighborhood is nice. Everybody gets to know you. But is that what you want to be? Is that your target market? Or you want to go beyond where you are? If you are looking to be beyond where you are and having people from all walks of life come to you, then you should look at having a website. But if you are very comfortable in your small neighborhood, everybody knowing you and being a local champion, quote unquote.
But on Facebook and Instagram, I may not be a local champion.
Okay, you will. And that's why I say again that nobody can tell your story better than you.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, X, they give you a template for you to put your information there, and it's not that much.
You don't have control.
You don't have control over it. Today, if those websites had to vanish, all that you place there are gone. They can even choose to say, okay, what you have placed on the site violates our terms,
policy, so
and they'll take it down. But your website, you decide what goes there, and you can choose to put whatever you want there, and you are good to go. You don't have there's no limitation. You know, sometimes you go to people's page and you're even scrolling on social media and you get to see ads a lot because that's how they make their money. So every 5 scrolls is an ad. So I get distracted. Maybe I'm looking, you sell furniture, and so I'm going through your furniture post and I see another furniture company's ad. I tap on it and I'm gone.
That's true.
But when I'm on your website, I'm not seeing anybody's ad. And what you want to sell is exactly what I'm seeing. And that way you get your business going and people get to know you better for exactly what you do.
Okay. I think that is pretty much true in terms of where you are tackling it from. You get to tell your own story. People are not distracted by different things happening. At least there are times that you open Instagram to go and do a particular thing, and before you know it,
why you went
1 hour is gone.
you are doing something else. Why did I even open the app in the first place? But at least if they know this is the website I'm coming to, they are coming there, and all that information that they are getting is from there. Okay, so let me just ask you, Desmond, about the current websites that we have. Will we say that with the development of the new sites around, I mean, in our world and in Ghana, can we say that we are really matching up to the new trends?
As in Ghana matching up to the new
exactly. The way you are laughing, I think I'm going to...
There's a no, but I mean, we are trying, basically.
We are trying.
Because I know there are like really talented web designers and UI UX designers here. It's just that people are still stuck with like the social media and then the mediocre websites in quotes, because probably they are not ready to like expand and all that. But yeah, I think like we are a bit behind because I don't know how to say this, but even with government websites, it's not up there yet. So I mean, there's that as well. So we have like a lot of catching up to do, basically.
We have a lot of catching up to because there are so many new developments and in technology too. We're having a conversation on websites, the essence in 2024. I've had with me Richmond and Desmond. Before we continue, we would like to share with you some quick tech fixes. Why not take a listen?
Hello there, my name is Michelle Ajakum, and as usual, I bring you some tech quick fixes and tips right here on Geek Squad. Today, let's talk about how to manage deleted files on iOS. Apple devices linked to your Apple ID are set to sync files via iCloud by default. It's advisable to verify this setting to prevent unintentionally retaining files you believed were deleted. So here's what you do on an iPhone or an iPad. 1. Open Settings. Then tap your name at the top and then iCloud. 2. Under Saved to iCloud, you should see entries for photos, iCloud Drive, iCloud Mail, and the other apps that make use of iCloud, which is probably most of the ones you have got installed. 3. Select See All for a list of all of your apps and whether they are synced. 4. To make sure files are deleted across the board, keep sync switched on. And that's it. That is all it takes to manage deleted files on your iPhone or iPad.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Tonight we are having a conversation on the essence of websites in 2024. And I've had with me Desmond and Richmond. And so far we've had 2 different sides actually, whether websites are necessary for every business. And the response is yes and a no. Is yes if you have reached a certain stage where you feel you want to expand and reach a certain group of people. But otherwise, you can start with your social media where you can share information about your business. The only thing that we are saying, comparing the two, is that when it comes to the building of the website, it is a bit capital intensive in terms of you have to get someone. If you are not really good at it yourself as a developer, then you may need to seek expertise to do that for you. You have to pay. It's not really that much anyway. I'm saying capital intensive, but it's not really that much. You just have to pay an amount to have that done. You need to get a domain to have that in place. Otherwise, when you are using your social media pages, the only thing is that you can't tell your story the way you want to and as it will be on your website. And so far, I think that with what has been shared, there's one question that's just we saw on our social media handle, but then the question would just be, if there is really no need, depending on the type of business that you're doing, then you don't necessarily have to build a website for that. Social media can do for you. If you need to reach a number of people and you have the means, then why not? You have to do that. Thank you so much, gentlemen, Richmond and Desmond, for joining me. And thank you for listening to me this evening. I believe that you have picked one or two from our conversation. Up next is news by Michael Ashley. God willing, next week we will be back. This has been your girl, Adobea Biritwum. Thank you.